everyone, my name is Olivia Robinson. I'm a sophomore environmental studies major, economics minor from Louisville, Kentucky, and I have the pleasure of interviewing.
My name is Caitlin Brittany Wheeler. I'm a junior political science major, philosophy minor at Spelman College from Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you for joining this interview. So the first question I have for you is, what is your definition of environmental justice?
Well, as a poli-sci major, I have a lot of background knowledge on justice as regards to the legal system. With regards to environmental justice, I think it's the same thing that applies with what happens in a courtroom. It's just about making sure that everyone involved, all the actors involved in a scenario, a case, or anything, receive the most beneficial outcome. So with regards to the environment, essentially all the actors involved need, or in my view, justice deserve the most desirable outcome, because I don't believe justice is about punishment or anything. I believe it's about rehabilitation. So with environmental justice, like I was saying, I think that it just means doing our best to support the environment in a way that can support us as well. So, and with regards to minorities and things like that, because we're placed in neighborhoods that have, less foliage, less greenery, things that would benefit us mentally and physically. I think environmental justice is about making sure we target those areas and provide them with the support that they deserve, as well as catering to the actual environment itself.
So you're saying both the people aspect of
Yes.
minority communities,
Right.
and then also the actual
And also
environment.
the actual physical environment.
Thank you. And then how does social justice manifest itself through an environmental justice lens?
So to the point I was just making about minorities and the fact that we're usually placed in more urban communities that have less, like I said, less greenery, less foliage, less, environment. Well, not environment, obviously everything's the environment, but less of, an environment that would be conducive to our physical and mental health. I think that social justice as it regards to environmental justice is about making sure that we target those areas that we know are, disadvantaged by their environment, and making sure that we, make it a point to cater to that area in that way. Planting trees, cleaning up the streets, things like that. Less pollution in the air so people can breathe better.
Thank you. So from a political science perspective, how do you think some of those implementations that you just described could be coming to fruition?
Let me think about that for a second. With regards to political science, because political science is just a study of politics and policy. So the best way in a political science perspective to implement social justice in these neighborhoods with regard to environmental justice is to change policy. So I'm not sure about what the environmental policies are, about if there's any requirements for tree building or air quality, things like that. But if there aren't any in place, which I'm sure there are, then we need to be more intentional about creating policies that are specific to maintaining the air quality in certain neighborhoods, maintaining the greenery, and how much we engage with, catering to our environment physically. But yeah, like I said, all about policy. So the best way in a political science perspective is to change policy.
Thank you. So you're familiar with the Black Lives Matter BLM movement?
Yes.
So how do you think you could connect the Black Lives Matter movement to an environmental justice movement?
From my perspective, that the goals and the aspirations of the Black Lives Matter movement are to hold the institutions of America responsible for the inequality that they've conditioned Black people to exist in. I think most of the focus that lies in is within tackling the justice system and the criminal justice system to be specific, and dealing with the mass incarceration of African Americans, dealing with police brutality and the lack of accountability that the justice system has on them. I think it's more focused on that aspect and less focused on the environment. But as I was saying, I think that our surroundings and how we live and exist every day is just as important as those, specific scenarios that we're trying to tackle. So the George Floyd case is a specific scenario, but the quality of our air, the quality of our surroundings is an everyday situation. So I think the Black Lives Matter movement, while it does have a major focus on something that's really important, can also take into account the environment, as I said, because it is our everyday, it's our lifestyle. I'm not saying that racism isn't our everyday, but most of the time they're tackling scenario by scenario by scenario.